Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. You know, I had no idea today was like a big free agency. It's Monday when we record this. There was a big like free agency thing. I had no idea. I was slightly confused, and then all this information started coming in. I was like, oh, I guess I missed something.
I didn't know of it until like last night.
No, the original plan was to do some form of a free agency preview show, but because I dropped the ball, that should have been last Thursday.
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, we already did a bunch of free agent preview episodes. So really on this episode, we are going to give you, I guess like a preview / update about what's happened in free agency and all that stuff. And then next Monday, we are going to give you, I guess, a full recap of whatever we know for the most part.
Right. And
go through all of it and break it down. So it should be interesting. But today we're going to talk about free agency and the frenzy that is free agency. It's fun. It's fun. The Patriots signed like 25 players, so we're good.
I think that's why it's fun, because it's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I remember the first time I experienced free agency, and I was hoping that the Patriots would sign somebody. Don't remember who it was. It was like a cornerback, and I was like, and then they didn't do it. I was like, frick you guys. That's what happens when you start spreading rumors and then pull it away. But anyway, so it's going to be interesting. It's been an interesting and fun day. Before we jump into that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter at the FF Champs, on Instagram at the Fantasy Champions. You can like us at facebook.com/the Fantasy Champions. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, be sure to smash that subscribe button right in half. Leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Just break it.
Yeah.
I don't know what color it is. The YouTube one is
red, white, something like that.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe also there. Click the bell for notifications if you want updates whenever we post a podcast. Really helpful. Every time I post a podcast, I get an update, and then I can listen to myself talk, which is not.
You do that?
Preferably. I only listen to our show to make us better. That's about it.
Okay, that's fair.
I usually like turn it on and then mute it.
Just so you can stare at yourself
for the watch time.
Oh,
YouTube algorithm. No, and then like and comment down below any questions, because we want to get this video in front of more people, and the way to do that is to help the YouTube algorithm think we're doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
and please be nice.
I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can arrest us. It doesn't matter. We take constructive criticism and unconstructive criticism.
Yes,
all the same.
Yep.
So let's do a free agency update. You ready to go, Rick?
Yeah, let's do it.
There might be breaking news as this goes along.
Get your phone.
I'm going to be very confused. The Patriots signed a safety.
Dietrich Wise.
No, Terrence Brooks.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, sorry.
We're already confused.
Yeah, see, I'm already screwing it up. We're not going to talk about defensive players, but I thought the Patriots signed another.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have an app here. If we get breaking news, we'll let you know. We'll talk about it live on the show. We're not live, but you'll get an update. So. We're going to start with the quarterback position and go through some guys. We originally talked about how there are a couple of quarterbacks out in free agency. There wasn't a lot of options. Everyone else on this list is pretty much a backup. But the main guys were Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky, and then Cam Newton. So just a few days ago. Was it a few days ago or was it last week? Can't remember.
For which player?
Cam Newton.
That was, I think, 2 or 3 days ago.
So Camalama Ding Dong signed a 1-year deal worth $16 million in incentives.
Yeah,
I think it was like it was really like a $6 or $7 million deal.
Yeah, I think it was like
$7 million dollars.
Yes, something like that.
And a hefty bonus if he makes the playoffs. Hell, I'd give him a hefty bonus if they make the playoffs.
I know. You would deserve that.
So as far, it's funny. We always talked about Cam Newton in the past, how Cam Newton, if he plays in 16 games, he's always been a top 5 quarterback in fantasy. Still, that record stands alone because he only played 15 games this year. Missed one because of COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as I have Cam Newton in a Dynasty League, super confused as to what I'm going to do with him. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know what's going to happen with New England. If he does play, he does have a rushing floor. If they add weapons to the offense, he might be somewhat valuable, depending on...
I mean, he was kind of streamable this year, especially in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, when the Seattle game, he threw 400 passing yards, so...
Yeah, but then he kind of disappointed consecutively. Like he had like a 4 or 5 week stretch where he got like under 20 fantasy points. So
Yeah.
They will have better weapons, but I wouldn't expect too much out of Cam Newton, and I also wouldn't expect too much out of the receivers if they do sign some guys. Just because Cam Newton is the one throwing the ball, and even in his prime, he wasn't really known for getting star receivers involved. So maybe Jonnu, who we'll talk about a little later. But I wouldn't really expect too much from the Patriots offense fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I agree. And then Dak, very close after, signed a 4-year, $160 million deal. This is a great deal for both sides, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Dak gets his money now, and if he's garbage, Dallas can get rid of him in 4 years.
Yeah,
but Dallas, Dak's not gonna be garbage, but it doesn't trap him. I like these 4-year deals because it doesn't trap teams.
I saw some people too,
like Mahomes trapped the Chiefs for 10 years.
Yeah, like I was listening to local sports radio, and they're saying that he was overpaid and stuff. But it's like if you want to if you have a top 10 quarterback, you have to lock him up.
Yeah, you don't have a choice,
especially he's young like that. Like you have your guy.
Yeah,
just lock him up.
Right.
Even if you have to overpay a little bit, that's what you have to do for the market value.
So we did a ranking show for quarterbacks, correct? Where did we have Dak ranked? 5?
Something around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Dak is definitely fantasy relevant. They're going to throw the football a lot.
He's going to be underrated this year.
He's going to be very underrated this year. So we'll see. He might end up going higher than we actually anticipated. But that guy signed, and then Brandon Allen signed. Oh wow. Yeah, that doesn't matter. So there's really 2 guys that I think are worthy of a starting role in the NFL.
Okay.
That might get signed, and that's Mitch Trubisky and Jameis Winston. Now, Winston there's reports that he's working on a deal with New Orleans, and that he'll most likely sign with the New Orleans Saints. I don't see him really going anywhere else but New Orleans.
I think maybe the Bears or the Washington football team, but I think they have other plans for their quarterback position.
The Raiders placed a 2nd-round tender on Daniel Carlson, their kicker.
What?
Only
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's only a thing kicker lovers would enjoy.
John Gruden.
Kickers are people too, I guess.
But yeah, Winston, I think his most likely is the Saints, and you've heard reports that they want to bring him back and everything. But if he went somewhere else, I wouldn't be fully shocked either, because there are some quarterback needy teams still out there.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Winston, I'd test the market a little bit because, I mean, there's a lot of teams who are going to draft a quarterback this year, which we've talked about. But like he could probably get at least a good contract as a backup. I think that's why he was going to sign with the Saints, because he's got the best opportunity to start with the Saints. But
I think like if he went to Washington or Chicago, like you don't think he would start like Tyler Heineke?
I think he might start for Washington and Chicago. I think those two landing spots he would, but just the guys that are going to draft quarterbacks in the top 10 to 15, he won't play.
Yeah.
So I actually wouldn't mind him in Washington, but
yeah. I wouldn't either.
It depends on what the crap they do there. If Winston signs with the Saints, where do you rank him?
Not that high. He was good
QB6 with 30 interceptions.
Oh, true. I don't think he would throw as much and he wouldn't have Godwin and Evans, although he would have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. So I think he could be he'd be decent, maybe middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Streamable. I don't think he'd draftable, though. I still wouldn't draft like Jameis Winston.
Okay, fair enough. I actually think the hype, if he was announced like as the starter, would get to the point where he'd be like at between 12 and 15. Like I would take a flyer on him in the 15th round.
Yeah.
It's the New Orleans Saints, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mitch Trubisky, he is definitely not going back to Chicago. Chicago has decided to move on from Trubisky, is what I've been hearing.
Yep.
I could be wrong on that, and if he does resign with Chicago, frick me. But I definitely see him going to a team like Washington.
Yuck. Gosh, I hope not.
And playing there. I don't think that would hurt. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that would hurt. That would hurt Terry McLaurin." And I'm like,
I think he would still be okay because of what Allen Robinson.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Allen Robinson was pretty good, so let's just leave him alone.
But that's just so. I've heard the 49ers are interested in him as a backup.
Now, see, that would be an interesting place to go.
As a high-end backup for Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G gets hurt every 5 minutes.
Right. I don't know if Trubisky's going to go anywhere to start. I think he might go to places to compete. But I don't know. I'm not a big Trubisky guy. So
yeah, I don't even want you to rank him. I would rank him 33.
Yeah, probably.
So anyway, those are the quarterbacks that we have. Obviously, Dak being the biggest name. They took him a very long time to get Dak. And then they didn't tag him, and I was like, he's gonna hit the market. Free. He should have tested it. He should have seen he was gonna because somebody would have paid him a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I mean, money. True, but he's also getting paid a lot of money, and he's probably in a better situation.
Yeah. Let's talk about the running backs. Aaron Jones yesterday, or for us Sunday, signed a 4-year deal with the Green Bay Packers, so he's back with the Packers.
Yep.
Obviously we know Aaron Jones is going to have his role. Jamal Williams was told, he's one of the guys on this list, he told the Packers he will not be returning, so he's not going back to the Packers, which leaves A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones in that backfield. A.J. Dillon's probably going to take the Jamal Williams role, but I think we have to unpack that situation a little bit more as the offseason goes along, because I've seen people make the argument that A.J. Dillon's going to take the goal line work from Aaron Jones, and that's what really makes Aaron Jones kind of one of the most elite running backs in fantasy football.
Yes, yep.
So I don't agree necessarily with A.J. Dillon being like some kind of goal line back. You don't give, and I saw somebody say that he was going to be like a scat/slot receiver, Aaron Jones, and I'm like, I don't see them giving Aaron Jones $12-13 million a year and using him as a slot receiver and a scat back, and then the main running back being A.J. Dillon.
No, I think he could do that and still be the main running back. But you remember last year, he still only got like 12 carries a game, like 13 carries a game. Like he wasn't. Jones. Yeah, so I don't think that really changes. I don't think his situation changes at all.
Yeah.
I do think I would still buy A.J. Dillon in Dynasty just because with Jamal Williams gone, like he might be able to get a consistent like 9-10 carries a game, and they'd be pretty much splitting or close to splitting, but Jones would get more carries, and then he just gets all of the passing work as well. But yeah, I don't think touches wise situation changes for Jones. I think he's now going to remain a top 10 fantasy running back as well.
Yep.
And I'm not too worried about the goal line thing.
Yeah, I agree. Are you buying or selling A.J. Dillon in Dynasty leagues?
I would buy him cheap, but I would buy him cheap. I'm still not happy.
I think the fantasy manager that has him on the team would most likely now think either they're like, oh my god, done. A.J. Dillon, or they're like, oh my god, A.J. Dillon.
One of the main reasons they got him was because they thought probably Aaron Jones was going to leave. Yeah, I would offer like a third or fourth. I don't think I would offer a second though.
Dude, what the crap?
Would you offer a second rounder?
All my tight ends are leaving.
Oh, Gerald Everett.
What'd you say? A second rounder for A.J. Dillon?
No, would you? I said I would offer a fourth or a third. I don't think I would offer a second.
I would offer a third.
Yeah,
I might even go low second.
Okay, all right.
So
maybe it's like 210.
It is 4 years though. 4 years of Aaron Jones's life.
Yeah, they could cut him though.
That's true. So he signed a deal, and then we saw Mark Ingram sign a deal with Houston. We'll see what happens. He's the new Duke Johnson.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Duke Johnson replacement.
Interesting. I think he had zero fantasy value on the Ravens, and now he kind of has something.
Yeah, you could make the argument his fantasy value.
I'm curious to see if people are going to start drafting Mark Ingram in like the 13th, 14th round this year. That would be interesting. So not a lot of movement in the running back market. Usually it takes a little bit of time to develop. Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake still out there.
Yep.
We talked about on our previous shows, and James Conner. I don't know why Mike Davis's list is higher than James Conner on this list, but
that's interesting.
It's weird. Todd Gurley's also out there.
Sure.
James White has been linked to the Buccaneers. Le'Veon Bell's out there as well. So there's a lot of different options. I don't really want to break down all of them.
No.
We'll just talk about the main guys. So Chris Carson, he's definitely not coming back.
Yeah, he's
to
expected to leave Seattle. I think I saw a report that he definitely is not coming back, but
wait, so you told me before the show you think Seattle's going to go get a running back. Don't be ruining my Rashad Penny shares.
I know. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if they would sign one, or if they sign like a crappy guy, just as depth. But
Mike Davis.
yeah, exactly. Chris Carson, I have no idea where he's going to land. I saw a rumor on Twitter, and it might just be because they've been doing everything today or yesterday, whenever you listen to the show. But I heard a rumor about Chris Carson and the Patriots, which is so gross.
That's
to me.
disgusting. Why do we need another running back?
We don't.
We don't. Fair enough. It's because we are most likely going to lose James White. So
yeah, but I mean, come on.
Fournette's going back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a prediction, not an announcement. Not a proclamation.
Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, he'll probably go back.
Yeah, I think Fournette's going to stay, and I also think Kenyon Drake might stay too.
Okay.
But Chris Carson and James Conner to me are gone. I don't know about landing spots. I think one of them might end up with the Jets just because they're going to throw money. But then again, they might not want to throw money at a running back because they did that with Bell and it backfired.
It didn't work, yeah. Yeah, right. I don't think that Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, Leonard Fournette, James Conner, or even Todd Gurley, I don't think they're going to get bank.
No, I don't think any of these guys are going to.
Like Aaron Jones would have gotten a massive contract from somebody, but I think all of these guys are going to get smaller deals. Like Carson, I could see Carson signing with the Jets. I could see him signing with the Bills. I could see him signing with anybody in the AFC East, really.
The only running back on this list I'm confident is probably going to start for their team would probably be Chris Carson.
I was going to say James Conner.
Yeah, and Conner maybe too. He'd be second, and then maybe Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
if he goes back to the Cardinals. But if Drake goes to any other team, I don't know if I'm confident about that.
I've heard James Conner linked to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So
that's kind of gross.
That would be interesting. I don't know about gross, but
I want Najee on the Dolphins.
It surprises me that James Conner, I looked at 25 and I'm like, oh, he's still got some years left. And then I looked at Todd Gurley, 26, and I feel like he's 140. So
yeah.
I think Atlanta. Todd Gurley said he wants to go back to Atlanta. So and he says he likes the system there and he could do some damage with the new coaching staff. So I think he is leaning towards signing with Atlanta, but we'll see what happens there. James White, like I said, he's been linked to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Brady getting another freaking running back. Don't need that. If that happens, I'm running very far away from Rojo and Leonard Fournette this year.
I know. So
far away.
But James White is also old as crap. Well, 29. I guess he's not.
Yeah, he's gonna be the pass catching back. He's not they'll get all the rushing work, but as far as Ronald Jones's pass catching ability,
I think those are the only guys with fantasy value though.
Yeah,
that would have relevant fantasy value. The rest of the guys would be like handcuffs or third down backs.
Yeah, I don't. What do you think is gonna happen to Le'Veon Bell?
He'll sign somewhere, but it'll be as a second or third running back. He's not gonna be the starter anywhere. Yeah,
I don't feel good about Leonard Fournette's fantasy value. I don't feel good about Kenyon Drake's fantasy value either. If he re-signs with Arizona, I'm going to have to feel out what they say about him and kind of get more comfortable with that. I don't think it would be any different than what it was last year, but they've said that they like Chase Edmonds and think he can be a workhorse. So if they bring back Drake, it's really going to be a 50-50 split between the two of them.
Yep.
I think for me, it's Carson and James Conner probably have the best chance, and Todd Gurley have the best chance at fantasy relevance. If Gurley goes back to Atlanta and he just gets the full workload like he did last year, he'll probably be a top 24 running back.
I think the problem is, though, even if he goes back to Atlanta, they might draft somebody.
Yeah.
Where they'll do something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's a million years old and he can't play. So
yeah, but he was bad.
I know. Well, this is what
1 yard
this
a
is
carry.
What we knew was going to happen with Atlanta, though. You remember I looked back on the offensive coordinator's numbers over the course of it wasn't because Dan Quinn got fired this year, correct? And the offensive the defensive coordinator took over.
Yes.
So the offensive coordinator is Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter's rushing systems never average more than 3.8 yards per carry. So that happening to Todd Gurley is totally unsurprising to me. With the new coaching staff, it might benefit Todd Gurley a little bit.
You're still on the Gurley train,
I don't think he's going to get 5 yards a carry like he did with LA, but I think he can average 4.2
and
Gurley
is washed. I think I put Gurley in the same category as Bell.
Yeah, no, I'm not there yet. He's not that bad. He's still, like I said, top 24 fantasy running back.
I don't.
Didn't he finish top 24 this year? I'm looking.
Not sure.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. Yeah, he was top 25. That was close enough.
Yuck.
Yeah, he was gross. He missed the game though. Yeah, I mean,
really
it's not, like I said, it's not a sexy looking like guy, but he still has fantasy relevance.
Bro, his game logs are so disgusting.
I know.
Like he would have games where he had like 23 carries for 63 yards.
That's what every running Devonta Freeman's game logs looked like that with Dirk Cutter too.
2.6 yards, 2.4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
20 carries, 47 yards.
Yeah, but anyway, I think I know you don't like it, but I think James Conner to Miami would probably be the best of the landing spots for these guys. Or
Yeah.
Chris Carson to Miami.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where they go. But
Or
anyway,
anyone to Atlanta if they bring in somebody.
Let's talk about the wide receiver position. It kind of got like, I don't want to say it got gross, but it got gross.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as it's still not bad though.
So Allen Robinson against his will got franchise tagged. Chris Godwin against his will got franchise tagged.
I think less against his will though.
Yeah, I think he actually would have stayed. But so Robinson, he wants a deal. I think this is going to be the last year that Allen Robinson stays. But they asked, I think it was his agent when the last time the team talked to him about a deal, and they said it was like last September or something like that. So Allen Robinson, I think he wants to go, even though he says he wants to stay. I don't think he wants to be. I don't think he says he wants to stay. I think he just wants a contract. That's really what he wants.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old, so this will be it for him. This is his last big contract that he'll get. But anyway, he's going back to the Bears. I'm confused as far as fantasy value. I don't really know what the Bears are going to do at quarterback. They won too many games this year. They've decided that they're going to move on from Mitch Trubisky, and they don't have a high enough draft selection.
Have you seen what they're trying to do? And it's not working at all.
Because they're 20 right now.
The rumors are that they're trying to do everything in their power to get Russell Wilson. But it's just not like
if you had a top 10 pick, that might be slightly easier to do, but your pick 20
they
Chicago.
They have no ammo to do it. And that's, I think, their plan A. And then when they realize it's not going to work, everything else is going to be like,
you're going to have to go back to Mitch and beg.
Yuck. Poor Bears fan.
Yeah, that's true. When you look at the draft board, though, me and Rick were talking about there's a possibility that Mac Jones could fall to Washington at 19. I think there's a chance Chicago could trade up into like the Minnesota Patriots
and go
Cardinals
get Mac
range,
Jones.
14, 15, 16, and try to get Mac Jones. I don't know if they've been connected to Mac Jones, so don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Or I think their best shot is really to trade into the top 10 and try to get one of the top 4 quarterbacks. But obviously they're probably not going to do that. So it just scares me a little bit that if Nick Foles ends up being the starting quarterback for the Bears next year, because I keep thinking about it, I'm like, they don't have a pick.
He won't be the starter.
They don't have a pick. They're not getting Russell Wilson. It's not happening.
No.
Russ is using this as an opportunity to go, listen, guys, you don't let me throw enough.
I will say Russ has been a part of trade rumors for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Seattle is fully, but that's like a side conversation. But I agree with you. I think he's just saying that.
Yeah, I think he's staying in Seattle. I think that Deshaun Watson, who would probably be the most likely guy to land with the Bears as far as big quarterbacks are concerned.
They don't have the ammo to do that.
They don't have the power to do that. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to trade Deshaun Watson. So I think A-Rob with Nick, they don't have any options. Winston's going to their option is Mitch Trubisky, Rick. So I think it might be Nick Foles. The more I think about it, but we'll see what happens. They might trade into the top 10. Anything
I don't think Nick
offseason.
Foles will be the starter. I think if everything fails, they'll like sign Fitzpatrick or something.
I'll say this: I really badly want Allen Robinson to get a quarterback that can actually throw him the football. So it makes more sense that they don't go forward with Nick Foles, but they put all their eggs in the Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson basket. And if those two things don't pay off, they are going to start the season with Nick Foles. There's no one in free agency that they can go out and be like, okay, I'm okay with this guy on my team.
Right.
Like, so it hurts my soul because I don't know if my ranking of Allen Robinson for our wide receiver ranking show.
Was it just
we're only doing the top 5, but down and further in the offseason, like he will move down my board if they don't have a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Chris Godwin, I don't know how I feel about Chris Godwin at this point. He did not have a good season with Brady. He was like okay, but he gets signed and put on. I mean, I guess if you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, you're okay. But
I don't know how to. I think Godwin's like top, probably like 25.
He finishes the wide receiver 31, but he only played 14 games. You give him the 2 extra games. Sorry, wrong thing. 12 games. You give him the extra 4 games. He gets another like 50 fantasy points, which puts him at 208, which is right around 11, 12, 13, 14, which is higher than Mike Evans.
Yeah,
that's a lie. That's a lie. When did he do that? When did Mike Evans get 213 fantasy points?
He was better than you think.
Oh my God. He was like wide receiver 18 for all of the season, and the last 4 weeks of the season happened. So yeah, Chris Godwin franchise tagged. I don't, like I said, I'm going to try to assess my fantasy value of him because I felt like he was going to be the Julian Edelman slot receiver.
He honestly wasn't. He kind of wasn't as good as I thought he would be. To be honest, I think Brady threw it to Evans more than he did to Godwin.
I honestly think Mike Evans, and I do this every year with the Bucs receivers for some reason, except for Chris Godwin. I think the Bucs receivers are going to take a hit because I really do think Antonio Brown is going back there, and he's going to take a lot of the touchdown receptions.
I honestly, like, I wouldn't mind Godwin or Evans, but I wouldn't go out of my way to draft him.
Okay.
You know?
So let's talk about some other guys that signed. Tyrell Williams signed a 1-year contract with Detroit.
Yeah.
Andre Roberts signed a 2-year deal with Houston.
Even more young.
I'm sure he'll be a great replacement for Will Fuller. And then Jamal Agnew,
punt return specialist.
Yeah, is that what he is?
I think so.
So anyway, you have Kenny Golladay, Will Fuller, TJ. Wow.
TJ.
I was looking at Juju's name and T.Y. Hilton's name. T.Y. Hilton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Corey Davis, A.J. Green, Curtis Samuel, like so many guys.
Yep.
So I personally, at this point, Golladay sounds like he's not going back to the Lions.
Yep.
According to reports, I've heard that he's been. Who was the first meeting? Did you see who the first meeting was? Let me see if I can look it up.
I did see one report that said the Giants and the Jaguars are 2 teams that were heavily interested in Kenny Golladay.
He was meeting with the Giants.
Okay.
Kenny Golladay.
So that was one.
I heard the Packers linked to Kenny Golladay.
Yep. So that's 3 teams.
So yeah, I think the Packers. I don't understand the Giants thing. Why would you want to go as a person? Why would you want to go play for the New York Giants?
They pay the most.
That's true. That's like an abyss. Like,
I agree with you. Out of those 3 teams, they would be 3rd. I'd actually probably put the Jaguars one because I think
it's good for Danny Dimes, but
yeah, I think the Jaguars would be my favorite just because of opportunity.
That was a surprise team that I saw today. I was like, the Jaguars.
Yeah, well, they have a ton of money, and with Trevor Lawrence, like I think it would intrigue me a lot.
Yeah,
and with the Packers, obviously that would be great too with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think would be the clear number 2 guy. If he goes to the Packers,
Yeah,
so that's why he would still be good. But I don't know if he'd be as good. Well, in Jacksonville, he has a chance to be the number 1 guy.
Yeah. Any Juju rumors?
I've heard, early, was it like last week that we heard the Raiders were going to be interested in him?
Interesting.
The only one I've heard today is gross, but I've heard the Ravens. The Ravens were going to be interested.
Such a Juju thing to do.
Going to be interested in Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. He
said he wanted to resign like 2 months ago, but today there was a report that he told his teammates that he does not expect to be back.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know where Juju. I actually thought he would be good with the Patriots, but I haven't really, outside of that Raiders report, I haven't really heard anything.
No.
In terms of connections for Juju, like I don't know if he's trying to sign with it. Besides telling his team that he's not coming back. You know what I mean? He's the youngest guy too.
Yeah, I love Juju. I mean, I would take him, but
yeah, I haven't hered any reports.
I'm looking up his name, see if I can see anything. Let's see. There's really nothing that's in the rumor mill. The only thing that
the Ravens thing.
Well, the Ravens thing and the fact that he said he doesn't expect to be back.
Yeah. So
yeah, as far as 1 hour ago, Vegas Raiders interested in Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay. Yeah, he did not have
Jets.
He did not have a good year last year in terms of fantasy production. He was a wide receiver 18, so he wasn't bad. Wherever he goes, he needs to have a good quarterback and a lot of targets. So I think you could say that for any player, but if he went to the Raiders, it wouldn't be a bad landing spot for him. But I don't know.
Is it weird of me to say I'd rather him on the Jets?
No, dude, stop.
Well, he would get more. I think he would get a crap ton of targets. On the Jets.
You have an obsession with Jets receivers and target share, and it's never worked out.
It didn't last year, but let me tell you, if they draft Zach Wilson number 2, they're going to throw the ball.
I don't.
All over the
I'll
field.
tell you. Rick probably. I don't know if he agrees or disagrees with this.
Would he not be their best receiver too?
He would be their best receiver, yes. But I don't like when good players go to bad teams, and then you look at that good player and you're like, "Ooh, I like him a lot. And then you try to talk yourself into drafting him for fantasy, and then it doesn't end up working out because it's a good player playing for a bad team. So who knows? Maybe the Jets are going to be really good next year, and Juju signs with them, and Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, or whoever they draft.
I don't think they'll be good, but I think their offense
ends up being really
decent.
good, and Juju gets 150 targets and ends up being wide. I think his best shot at being fantasy relevant somewhat is going back to the Steelers, to be honest with you.
See, I don't like the Steelers situation because
Yeah,
Big
they got
Ben is
three
old as
receivers.
crap, and he's the third guy.
Yeah.
Deontay and Claypool got more
Probably why
targets.
he's leaving, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't mind the Derek Carr thing because they don't have a quarterback either, but they actually have shown that they can have like fantasy relevance from multiple positions.
And Carr would be a good fit. Carr likes those
Slot
short
receivers,
intermediate
yeah.
throws, so Juju would probably, but Carr also loves to spread the ball. Like Darren Waller will get targets. Nelson Aguilar, if they re-sign him, would get targets still. Who I don't. Yeah, he is still a free agent. Henry Ruggs will try to get more involved. They still have Brian Edwards. Like that. That's the thing with the Raiders. There's just so many guys. It would be like the same situation as the Steelers.
Yeah. Let's talk about another guy, T.Y. Hilton.
I heard that
Reports are that he wants to go back to the Colts. Is that what?
I saw today that like he's essentially just doing his due diligence and quote, but it's expected that he's gonna go back to the Colts.
That's gross, dude. Just retire. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, he might be better with Wentz than he was with Phillip Rivers.
That's
play
true.
style wise.
That's very true. Will Fuller. I kind of just want to see my guy, Michael Pittman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's not his first name, is it?
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Michael Pittman.
So I would love to see Pittman take over because I think he's just.
I think he probably
younger
will
receiver.
take over. Like he'll get more targets.
But anyway, Will Fuller. I have no idea where Will Fuller is going to go. I think he's probably going to be the last receiver signed, because of the suspension, most likely. So, and if he gets re-signed, if he's going to get re-signed, it's probably going to happen soon.
Jets. Oh yeah, there's a ton of teams for Will Fuller. So apparently the Jets are interested in Juju, Will Fuller, and Kendrick Bourne.
We signed Kendrick Bourne.
The Dolphins have shown interest in him. Green Bay is the team I've heard the most with Will Fuller.
Yeah, that would be a good fit.
Yeah, Texans. He might return, but I don't know. I haven't seen a ton. Let's see.
If he goes to the Packers, how do you feel?
I like it.
Does it hurt Devontae Adams?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing would hurt essentially Devontae Adams. I don't know if he would be like Will Fuller's ceiling though.
Yeah.
Would be to stay in Houston and then Deshaun Watson comes back and actually plays.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
So his other best case scenario is I think Green Bay would be a really good one, where I think if Aaron Rodgers still plays like Aaron Rodgers, and puts up huge numbers again next year, then you're gonna be
The Patriots signed Nelson Aguilar.
No, they didn't. Are you serious?
Yeah, we signed Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. Ian Rappaport says a huge day in New England.
Wow.
All I can think of is that meme where the guy.
What I wanted to reiterate from earlier.
I was out here catching babies, unlike Aguilar.
The New England Patriots are not a situation for fantasy. You do not want anyone on that team next year, except maybe Johnny. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So it's so hard for us as Patriots fans, totally rooting for like Kenny Galladay or Juju to go. And then it's like I figured that unless they have a quarterback,
they weren't going to spend money on Jonnu and then get a good receiver. They just weren't going to do it.
Well, you give them a minute, dude. Jeepers creepers! They signed 2 bad wide receivers.
Yeah, and that'll be their 2. They'll be like, look, we signed 2 receivers.
Look, Cam. We got some receivers for you, buddy.
Yeah, these are the weapons.
Anyway, so then Corey Davis is still out there. I don't know where he's going to end up. It is, I think, they're
Baltimore, Green Bay. Green Bay is going to get one of those. Green Bay is going to get either Will Fuller, Galladay, or Corey Davis, I think.
I think New England will probably get Curtis Samuel. I'm sticking my head out for that.
Okay.
So anyway, those are kind of the wide receivers. If you have any questions about any of the wide receivers that are free agents, leave it in the comments. And we're going to quickly talk about the tight end position because we have to end the program. Hunter Henry, still a free agent. Gerald Everett, he reportedly said goodbye to the Los Angeles Rams, so he's hitting the free agent market. Gronk's a free agent. Did you hear this crap? Gronk's screwing people out here. He's like, oh, I'm going to test the market. I'm going to see what happens.
He's not.
He's going to go right back to Tampa, so don't listen to any of that.
Did Adam Schefter tweet that?
Ian Rappaport.
Oh, Rappaport, yeah. Yuck.
So, anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with Hunter Henry. Is he definitely out in Los Angeles?
No.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know if he's necessarily
I want him
back
to go
either.
back to.
He's one of those where you don't know. He might come back. He might not.
Okay, fair enough. And then Jonnu signed a 4-year, was a $50-something million deal with the Patriots. Now, this is probably going to be the large. I'm not going to talk about where Gerald Everett's going, and Gronk is going back to Tampa. So, and he's not even fantasy relevant. Wherever Gerald Everett goes, it probably is going to depend on landing spot.
He could be better than what he was. With the Rams.
All right, fair enough. But Johnny's probably going to be the guy we're going to talk about at the tight end position the most. So let's just talk about it. So he signed with the New England Patriots. Some people are hyped on this, like psyched. The fantasy community is so divided on everything, which is interesting, as usual. But so I'm of the mind to think it's a good signing for the Patriots. It's not a good situation for fantasy. Now, I can be swayed. Yeah, I can be swayed all offseason because I love Jonnu and I would love to draft him all day, all night. But I just don't, like, he's going to be a red zone target, right? That's what, when he gets in the red zone, he'll be the guy that they throw to, would be the assumption if they're passing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how often is Cam Newton going to pass it over running it in the red zone?
Not a ton.
So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that Cam Newton only threw 390-something passes last year, and the Patriots as a team, I think, only threw 440 as a team.
One of the lowest in the league.
So if they do sign a real wide receiver, and they have other guys, and they still have Julian Edelman they have to throw the football to, and they run it a million times. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So and they still have N'Keal Harry and others. I just don't know that they're gonna toss it to Jonnu Smith like
here's
8,
what I'll
9
say.
times a game, and
I
get
agree
him
with you
with
the touchdown thing. I'm not sure if he'll get what was it 8 last year. Yeah, I'm not sure if he gets 8 touchdowns. So 9 technically, because he had a rushing touchdown as well. But what I will say is, as of today, with Nelson Aguilar as your wide receiver 1, Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry, and if that's the wide receiver core,
that's not going to be the wide receiver core, but yeah.
Okay, I know as of what we're talking about right now, and the Patriots threw the ball 440 times last year, I would expect like 300 of that to go to but a lot of I think Johnny would be the most targeted guy out of those.
Yeah,
players.
if I agree with that. If it sits right now where we are and nothing changes, then I think Jonnu probably will get a lot of target share. The question is it going to be an effective target share? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, are they going to be able to move the ball down the field enough to get Jonnu in a position to score? You know what I mean? Because that's where tight ends make their bread and butter. You know what I mean? That's where they get their bread and butter. That's where they make all their fantasy points happen, is in the red zone.
Yeah.
Except unless your name is Darren Waller. So I'm excited to see Jonnu play. I really want to believe that, what everyone else does. But I think the conversation, because a lot of people are like, okay, the Patriots have a tight end, they're always good with the tight end position, which is false. They just happen to have the greatest tight end in the history of the game play for them for 10 years, 9 years,
Yeah, something
So
like
that's the
that.
first thing. New England's not really that great with tight ends, nor did they use the tight end position.
See, I don't know.
I don't think they use the tight end position a lot outside of Gronk.
They tried with Ryan Izzo this year. He just stunk.
Well, yes. But
if you have a good tight
their
end
whole
there,
offense around this idea that Gronk was there and then Gronk left and their whole offense had to be changed.
but now they have Jonnu.
Right. So,
So
do they go back and use Jonnu like they did Gronk? Because I think this offense is different now with Cam.
It is
Than it
in
was.
ways, but in the passing game, I wouldn't be surprised if they use Jonnu like they used.
Anyway, the
Gronk.
second one was that Cam Newton threw it to Greg Olsen a lot, and I think that's unfair because Greg Olsen actually was like a Hall of Fame tight end. So I mean, I think Jonnu can be good enough to be at that level, but I don't know if he can.
He
and will
hasn't
be.
shown it.
He's shown
Hall of Fame?
flashes, not Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But is he
He's a
good
good
enough?
tight end,
Is he good
yes.
enough for Cam to be like, okay, I'm gonna throw it to him as much as I did
think
Greg
he
Olsen?
can be. I think he can be. But I understand your points. It could be gross. It could be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see how the offseason plays out too.
Right.
But as of today, right now, I still like it because I don't think he was getting targeted much in Tennessee anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm kind of I can't believe we signed Nelson Aguilar. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm open throughout the offseason to have my mind changed on Jonnu, but I just don't. I think right now, like, honest to God, he's going to get hyped into like the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that.
And like, I don't know enough about what they're going to do with him to be like, okay, I'm going to draft him in the top 6 rounds.
Where was he last year? Like a top 12 tight end?
Top 10.
I don't think of that. Like he might go up like a spot or two.
If he went to like, let's just say he went to Green Bay and they got rid of Bob Tonyan and Bob Tonyan just said, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right. I think he would be a top 5 tight end at that point because they would literally have no more assets.
But if they did that and added a receiver, so like they added Jonnu and like Kenny Golladay, I don't know about that. But if they did nothing, and just added Jonnu, then I could see that.
I'm like the guy that says change my mind on that table. I really want somebody to change my mind. Yeah,
Jonnu.
But anyway, there is a list and a free agent preview / like update of what is happening. We had no breaking news during the show besides Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah,
Nelson Aguilar.
That's disgusting.
I can't believe. Well, I always watched him play and said he's gonna be a New England Patriot someday. I hate that, but it's the truth. Yeah. So there you have it. All free agency updates next week. Monday, we'll give you a full kind of recap, breakdown of what the hell's going on in the NFL. Thanks for listening to this podcast, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
See you guys later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.